Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss about the lesson, the lost lesson. It is written by Alphonse Daudet. So it is 12th class and the name of the book is Flamingo. So first of all, let us see about Alphonse Daudet. Who was he? Alphonse Daudet, he was born in 1840 and died in 1897. इन्हें अल्फोंस डाउडेट जो था वो बॉर्न हुआ 1840 में और 1897 में उसका इंतकाल हुआ. एंड he was a French novelist. He was a French novelist and also short story writer. The lost lesson, this lesson, now we go for its introduction. This last lesson set in the days of Franco-Prussian War. In which this France was defeated. And this war began in 1870 to 1871. And Persian led by this Persian, it was led by Bismarck. And Persia at that time consists of nations of Germany. In this story, now the lesson, the story which we are going to read, in this story, two districts of Persia, namely Alsace and Lorraine, they were under the control of Persia. So what happens after this, that now when they were under the control of Persia, these two districts, they were asked not to teach French in schools. French in schools. And they were asked to teach now Germany. So the story brings out this story, it brings out the pathos. Pathos means emotions of pity and sorrow. Of the whole situation, and also depicts, यानी ये इसकी अक्कासी भी करती है, dignity of the French teacher, depicts dignity of a French teacher his name is Mr. Hamel. Now see, it is the introduction of this, that the lesson, the story, last lesson, it is written by Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist and short story writer. And this last lesson is written when there was a war between France and French and Persia. So in this, French was defeated. So, and this Persia, it was controlled, it was held in the hands of the Bismarck. So what happened after this, when two districts were under the control of Persia, that was Alsace and Lorraine. So Alsace and Lorraine, in these two districts, they were asked that the teachers who teach this French, they should leave the schools. And where the Germans were asked to teach them Germany. And then this story, it depicts, it brings out the emotions of pity and sorrow. Emotions of pity and sorrow of the people, and also depicts the dignity of a French teacher, Mr. Hamel. This is the introduction about it. Now, see the story. So, here is a character, a small boy, his name is Little Franz. Little Franz. He is a little schoolboy, and so he started for school. for school but late. तो स्टोरी जो शुरू हो जाती है, एक छोटा बच्चा होता है, उसका नाम था फ्रेंड्स। तो फ्रेंड्स स्कूल जाने वाला है, लेकिन वो लेट जा रहा है। वाई ही वॉज लेट, वाई ही स्टार्टेड फॉर लेट, बिकॉज ही was in a fear that his teacher, Mr. Hamel, will scold him, will rebuke him। क्योंकि उसको ये डर था कि उसका जो टीचर था मिस्टर हैमल, ही वॉज टीचिंग देम फ्रेंच, वो उसको डांटेगा। किस चीज पर डांटेगा? वाई? बिकॉज ही विल आस्क हिम द क्वेश्चंस अबाउट participles of this French language. Now you came to know that Miss Little Friends, he was a schoolboy. He was late because he was in a fear that his teacher, Mr. Hamel, will ask him questions about French language. And what about the topic? That was the participles. So, according to Friends, he says that he didn't know even a word about these participles. So, what happened to him? For a moment, he thought of running out. तो उसने क्या किया कि he wanted to running out of doors. Out of doors here means out of whom? Or we can say away from whom? To spend day in fields. So now he thought about this. Why he was running out of the door? Because actually he was in a fear that his teacher, Mr. Ham, he would ask him questions about the participles, but he didn't know about the participles. So he decided to running out from away from the from his house and to spend day in fields. Now when he decided it was a very bright day, it was very lovely day, birds were chirping, everything there was that it was very it was a sunny day. So what happened to him? Only not the atmosphere was too much lovely, but also these Persian soldiers, they were drilling, and it also added to the beauty of this day. So, but these things, and also he saw people, they were crowded in front of a bulletin, news board to watch the news about the war. So all these things, he ignored them. These things, no doubt, they will temper him. They will attract him, but he ignored them, and straightly he went towards the school, where a blacksmith also met him in the way, and he says that there is a time for schooling, but he didn't pay any attention to him, and he went to school. So this is the first thing. Now, what was the atmosphere of the school? This is the second phase. So usually when school open it, what was there? That there was hustle bustle, sounds of different things, tools, desks, rods, students. There was a very, we can say a very noisy atmosphere. But at that moment, when he reached to school, when Mr. Fez reached to school, that there was silence. Silence prevailed around the school, and there was not any kind of this noise or anything. So, without being seen, now he approached towards his class. So when he approached towards his class, what happened? What he saw, that the teacher, Mr. Hamill, was with his rod in his hand. He was there. So when he opened the door, the teacher told him, "We are going to start the class without you. Now please take your seat." So he jumped over the students and took his seat. So when he took his seat, so he saw, and something thrilled in his mind. What was that? The teacher, Mr. Hamill, he was in a beautiful dress. So, what kind of dress he had? Beautiful green coat, and then frilled shirt, and also a cap. It was embodied. So he surprised that Mr. Hamill, he wore such kind of dresses when he was on inspection or had to receive any kind of award. So why he had worn such kind of dress today? And this was the first thing he surprised. And the another thing which surprised him more, when among there, so that was the whole school seemed as strange. But the thing that surprised Fez most was that on the back bench, the village people were sitting among the students, and among them there were several people. Like there was one of the people were sitting quietly, little student. Among them were old Hauser. So old Hauser, he was a mayor. And then there was also former postmaster, and also several others. Everybody looked sad. So everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer. Primer actually is a book जिसको हम उर्दू में कायदा कहते हैं. And he put it on his knees, that this primer was open. So this is about the outline and it is the part one of this story that we came to know that this story is about the war between French and Persia. And French was defeated, and two districts were in the control of this, and they were asked to teach teach Germany instead of this French. So we came to know there was one character, one schoolboy, he was French. And he started his school late. Why he started his school late? Because the teacher, he was in a fear that the teacher would ask him questions about the participles which he didn't know. But now when he started, so this the day was a very sunny day. It was a very beautiful day, and something was there that these Persian soldiers, they were drilling, and also there were people in crowd watching the news and other things. So he ignored all these things and reached to the school, where the school was not in a the atmosphere was of a school was not like as it was earlier days. So there, what was there, that there was silence prevailed everywhere, and Mr. French, he approached towards his classroom, and there was his teacher, Mr. Hamel, and Mr. Hamel was teaching French. So Mr. Hamel asked him, and he permitted him to the class, and when and asked him and told him that we were teaching, we are going to teach without you. Now take your seat, and he took the seat. But something surprised him. One thing there was that Mr. Hamel, he was in a very beautiful dress, and also there were some other outdoors, some people on this back benches. So this also surprised him. Thanks.